Success starts with who you are, not what you do. Welcome to Garner Growth with your host, Courtney, nurse first, entrepreneur, and your meditation and mindfulness expert. Every week, we fertilize your growth with education, inspiration, and mindful tools to help you live your fullest life and do what you came here to do. Tune in. We need you.
What's up, fam? Is this an awkward wave? It feels awkward. Welcome to Garner Growth. This is episode 1, and some of y'all already know me, so I'm going to reintroduce myself, and some of y'all have not known me, and so I'm going to introduce myself thoroughly. And the way I'm going to do that thoroughly today is by answering at least 10 vulnerable questions. And it's not just about me. I really want you to listen to these questions and answer them yourself. But also, we're going to take 3 of these questions later on, and I'm going to tell you what to do with them. And the reason it's really important to know how to cultivate intimacy and have a genuine connection with somebody is because it's like a fleeting skill, something that's so easy and automatic to do when we are grounded and have that sense of connection automatically is actually hard to achieve these days. So if you've been dating, if you've been trying to make friends, if you've been dating, then you know how hard it is to have a genuine conversation that doesn't sound like an interview, and you get bits of the person. You get to know how they think. Because the way that I see intimacy is knowing how somebody thinks. You know their processes. How deeply can you know somebody than to know how they think and to know how they feel? And in any relationship, whether it's with customers, with your significant other, with your kids, knowing how they think and what they're feeling is them, right? You're able to tap into the perspective. And so I want you to take the bits away from that today, from today's episode. I didn't bring anything to drink, which we know is a mistake. I lied. I got something. Hydro Flask stays on deck, honey. Today I'm showing up willing to be awkward, willing to say something that you might not agree with, willing to just give freely. I've been through a lot this year. It's been a hard year, maybe the hardest year of my life, actually, like 2023. And I stopped going on social media. I ghosted y'all. I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry. But it was necessary because social media does impact your mental health. And what I realized is that my place, like my thing as far as social media, is YouTube. And that's because you get information from YouTube. I love information. I value it. It's really helped me on my personal growth journey. I'm here for more people like me that really value information, that spend time on YouTube, that listen to podcasts, and that is how you, consuming that content is how you nurture your spirit, how you fertilize your growth. And I'm here to just be another fertilizer, baby. For those of y'all that know your NPKs, I'm like, fishbone meal. And I know I'm not the only one that's been having a hard time mentally, emotionally, going through it. And the tools that I've gained over the years, being a nurse, being a wellness coach, practicing Tibetan Buddhism, all those things that I'll talk to you about later, they've really helped me to see a holistic point of view of what's going on and to know that I can do something about it. Like, I'm not going to stay in something too long. I'm going to do something about it. And sometimes you need some external motivation to push you out of that ditch and help you see the light. And by being consistent, by showing up every week, I'm going to be that support for you. And so I really want to help you get out of that pause and into moving with passion. Because when you're in that pause, there's pause that's necessary, right? But when you're stuck in confusion and you pause for too long, it starts to drain you and you start to feel blocked. And then that compression from that blocked energy, from it not flowing, actually builds up tension and affects your mood, affects your health, affects your relationships. So, and I know how that feels, and I don't want you to continue to go through that. Personal growth coming from a perfectionist is something that can easily go into fixing, right? I need to fix this, I need to fix that. But the way I see it is going about it in a way that inspires curiosity. You're excited to get to know more of yourself, excited to see what you're capable of. because there's a feeling inside you that knows I'm capable of more than what I'm doing. But how do I get from where I'm at, how I think now, how I perceive things, to that person that is capable of amazing things, that's capable of great change? And it doesn't have to be nothing big and grandiose. It can be as little as painting that painting that you wanted to paint. Like that blank canvas back there, that's been blank ever since I moved into this place. Something's gonna get on there, okay? At the right time when you're ready. The statement that the only thing that is constant is change is so true. So if you're able to master change and you're able to ride the waves of change, then you'll be all right. It's the resistance to change that causes stress. That resistance inside where you just feel like, I don't know how to spell that, but that's the word I'm looking for. So my credentials, because that's really important. Why should you listen to me? What skills and experience do I have? I am a nurse first. I've been a licensed nurse since 2010. And no, I'm not going back for my RN because I'm following my own curriculum and giving myself a job. So I don't need to. I love nurses and I'm one of y'all. So I'm still working and I love taking care of people. This is an extension of how I take care of people. Also, I am a certified sexologist. So that includes sex education. I've helped a lot of people, couples heal from sexual trauma and really heal themselves. That's a really important thing. I don't heal nobody. You heal yourself and you do that with information and application. Don't idolize nobody. That's all you, okay? I practiced Tibetan Buddhism since 2016 and been a meditation facilitator in that and other kinds of meditation as well, including Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. I do a lot of elemental meditations from Tibetan Buddhism, but I also do a lot of just Reiki. Reiki is real simple, just like turn on the tap and let it flow. So those are some things that I could share with you as well. Later on, I'm a meditation facilitator. Y'all used to know me from Vibe Tribe. I miss Vibe Tribe actually, just big groups of people meditating together. Some of my best memories was at the beach with our bonfires and Vibe Tribe. So meditation facilitation is something I've been doing, but I've also crossed over into voiceovers. So I record and do a lot of guided meditations for other people, other companies, other brands. And besides all that, I am a dog mom of a beautiful Isabella White Husky named Cora. I would bring her in here, but she's outside right now enjoying the sun. I'm an adventurer, a stargazer. I love taking hikes. I love to cook. I'm a serial creative. I will create anything like sewing, cooking, painting, drywall. I can do it all, okay? I just love creating, like it gives me life. And lastly, what qualifies me to be here in this space and share with you my personal growth journey is I've been through a lot. I've not had an easy life, but I've had a blessed life. I call myself the golden child. Golden child is my way of acknowledging that I'm blessed and protected despite certain circumstances, despite, growing up without parents, without love. I love love. And I find that so miraculous and fortunate that even though I didn't grow up with it, it was always this spark in me that knew that there was better and there was more in life and that I was capable of getting there and I was going to get there. Whatever it took, I was going to get there. And that kept me going in the hardest parts of my life. Like I remember there was a time, I grew up in Orange County. And so there was a time where we were homeless, me and my sister and my aunt, and we were sitting in the park. She's over here braiding my hair with twice used Klanakalon. And we're just sitting at the park and I'm just happy looking at the birds. I'm happy playing. I'm just happy being outside in the sunlight. And I knew that life is going to continuously get better for me, no matter what situation I was in. And I mean, look where I'm at. Like, I'm good. I'm really proud of myself and where I've come, where I've arrived to, and who I've become. Become a person that really loves people. I really love genuine connection and presence. There's nothing more than presence, right? All we have is now. So practicing presence is a big priority in my life. And I do it all the time. So my goal is to help you rediscover the spark in yourself, that sparkle of hope and knowing. You know there's more, you know there's better, and you know you can get there. But it's the mindset. So how do we get from where you are now to where you want to go? And how do we also acknowledge that you don't need anything else externally to come inside you to get there? Like, you literally have everything that you need right here. And it's a lack of insight. It's a block that keeps you from feeling that and recognizing that. So nothing's going to come in from the outside and give you anything new. It's already there. So why do I want you to show up every week? I'm showing up every week, and I'm showing up as an anchor to give you that weekly reinforcement. We need repetition. We need continuous, consistent support. So if I show up, you show up, then you can count on the fact that you're going to experience some change. And the way that I've formulated these episodes is to be more in series. So for a month, we're going to focus on one thing. The next month, we're going to focus on something else. And you guys can be a part of that. I want you to let me know what area of your personal growth. It could be sexual healing. It could be relationships, communication. It could be entrepreneurship. I'm going to touch on all those things without being too broad. The focus is really just on how do you impact change? How do you ride the waves of change and really master the change that happens all around you? How do you stay grounded in who you are and continuously develop who you are at your core while also changing what you do, right? So I call it the eye of the storm. If you can master the presence of being the eye of the storm, and all this stuff is swirling around you, all these changes are happening, but you are in that center, that's where it's at. Nothing can throw you off. You're unfuckwittable. So the 3 things that you can expect from this podcast is information, and that's information on how change happens on a holistic level and how we can impact change, and also learn to ride the waves of change, because there's always going to be happening. And the second thing is inspiration through stories, through interviews. I'm going to be bringing on some very much hidden gems in the mental health industry. Therapists, thought leaders, people that are not popular that you're seeing in maybe your subscriptions right now. But once you get to know them, it's going to really open up a whole world of resources for you. And also being culturally appropriate. We need a lot more representation, and I'll make sure we get it. And tools. One of my biggest tools is mindfulness and meditation. They are not the same exact thing, although you can be a mindfulness meditation. But mindfulness is really the practice of being present with everything that you do. So the fact that I'm talking to you right now, my mind is not anywhere else. There is a flow, a very, how do you call it? There's an alignment with what I'm thinking, what's coming out of my mouth, and how I'm feeling. It's all in alignment right now. And that gives me mindfulness. My mind is full. It's full of presence with what I'm doing. When I'm taking a shower, you can take a shower and be thinking about 1,000 other things, which is what we usually do. You can sing, and which is why singing is enjoyable in the shower, because you are actually being more present with the shower. You're not so much thinking about, random here, there, the dog, the cat, the dinner, the kids, the husband, the dog barking in the background. You are actually present with the song. Music creates this wave that you can actually follow and feel in alignment. And then also exercises, whether it's journal prompts, mind mapping, just little exercises that you can do that you can fill up a journal with, you can fill up a notebook with. I have a lot of notebooks, and it's not even about going back and looking at them. I actually plan on passing them on to the next generation in our family, but just writing it, that activity of writing it out, is where the alignment happens. Not so much you having that information laid out so you can go back and reference it. Sometimes I've never looked back at what I wrote down, but I got the results during the writing process. So before we get into our 10 vulnerable questions, I'm going to shout out to our sponsor, which is Green Body Wellness. So Green Body Wellness is all natural body products. Green Body Wellness is actually my brand that I created in 2018. And it started with me making all natural products for myself. I have not bought body products. That means anything moisturizer. Like for soap, I only use pure African black soap. Face, hair, body, everything. Only one bar. So it's not only economical, but I mean, it's really good for your body. I'm not mixing a bunch of preservatives and ingredients and things like that. These products are inspired by African resources like shea butter, castor oil, hibiscus, and you'll see that in the branding. And also be inspired to have better self-care. One of our most popular products is Peace. Peace is a body butter with lavender, sage, and a splash of lemon. So it's this really refreshing, relaxing scent, something that makes you think of getting a massage, being at a wellness spa. And that's why I called it Peace. So check out Green Body Wellness at greenbodywellness.com. Free shipping on all your orders. And just know it's handmade, no preservatives, no water, which is a filler, and no bullshit. All right, so these 10 questions I have in here. And I was thinking this is going to be a short episode because I'm just going to answer 10 questions and go on my day. But I talk a lot. So, so let's mix these up. I got it in my singing bowl. Also, just FYI, this is a video podcast and audio. So you can watch me or you can just listen. Either way, you're going to get the sauce. You're going to get the secret sauce that I'm offering. All right. Wow, this is a heavy first question. I cut them up so that they're random, but I kind of know what they are because I made the list. And this list of questions, I told you, are really great for creating intimacy and getting to know somebody, like creating genuine connection without it being romantic. So I'm going to provide that list for you. There's going to be a link in the caption so you can download this list of questions and then use them for yourself. All right. First question. What's a past failure that still haunts you? And how are you choosing to learn from it? Past failure. I've got a lot of those. All right. Okay. I'm going to say a certain relationship. A relationship where I invested a lot of time and effort, knowing damn well that I should have let go a little sooner. And that's kind of my thing is once I'm in love and once I'm in a committed relationship, I'm going to try to stay there. I'm going to try to keep it, and you end up beating, what do you call it? Beating a dead horse. Something sounds off about that. But, you end up just overstaying your welcome in that situation and trying to make it work when that effort is not reciprocated or not even welcome. Yeah. So what I've learned from that, and even doing that more than once, is having more discernment earlier in the relationship, having certain values and boundaries that I know I can work with or I can't, and knowing my deal breakers. If those are showing up early in the relationship, then I can walk away with a clear conscience, knowing that I'm making the best decision for myself, because this is going to be a lot more effort to try to make work than, what I'm looking for at this time in my life. You date a lot differently in your 30s than you do in your 20s. And I didn't date my teens, so that doesn't count. So that's one of them. Number 2. All right. Imagine your future self sitting here next to you. What advice would they give you for this very moment? Okay, future self sitting next to me, advice for this moment. Be yourself. Be yourself and enjoy what you do. See, that was simple. I know how to give short answers. I have to mix these up a little bit more. Okay, these are a little heavy. Where are the fun questions at? Okay. Have you ever felt truly lost, questioning your path and purpose? How did you navigate the uncertainty? Yes, I have. So yeah, there was a time, this has happened more than once, but the biggest thing was I was really involved in this group and this practice. I'm not giving specifics for a reason, but I was really involved in this group and this practice. and even, being like the poster child, like promoting it hard, heavy. And once that relationship, like the core relationship with the people, kind of dismantled, I went through like an identity crisis. And it's kind of like if you ever got a divorce or if you broke up with somebody after a long-term relationship, where so much of how you think and what you do is intertwined with them. And also you find fulfillment in that. So then once you break up, then it's like, okay, shit, like I have to find another way to get fulfillment or I have to find what genuinely fulfills me that's not from somebody's outside validation or approval. And if you grow up as a child being a people pleaser, having to gain love and approval from your parents and not really knowing how to get that within yourself, it translates into adulthood, especially when you have this hierarchical system of leaders or gurus. Then you look up to that person and you idolize them. And when those relationships dismantle, then you are going to go through that grieving process. So I was really lost for a while. And even when I found my footing in doing things like the Vibe Tribe and offering guided meditation, there was still this sprinkles of bullshit that was hindering me from really walking in passion. And the whole thing just felt, unsettling. And so, it took a lot of work to get to a place of confidence and to know that you got the sauce, it's your sauce, and to stop regurgitating other people's sauce. And like re-anchor in God. And God is something that's within you, right? It's the energy that ignites us, that connects us while we exist. So when you reconnect with that through a lot of work, then, you can come back to yourself. You can act from a place from your heart and not from unhealthy attachments. All right. So did I answer that? Yeah. So I navigated the uncertainty by trying a lot of different things, reading a lot of different books, journaling a lot. And it works. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you? This is going to be a bias because it's going to be from my perspective. Oh, okay. I have one that's kind of obvious. Voiceovers. People are usually surprised to hear that I'm a voiceover artist because it's just not a common job. And people are just surprised that I make real money from it. Like there's been times back in like the pandemic where bills would not have gotten paid if I had not had that transfer from Fiverr. If I had not done that audiobook in Barbados, I would not have been able to rent a car for another week. Like there's real money to be made when you see the value in your voice. And I didn't have any formal training. I mean, never mind, I do. I work with Coach Willie Norwood, so I do have formal training. But as a voiceover artist, I didn't know how to do it and where to start, but I learned. So are we doing good? We're doing good on these. Not too long. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5. What was the last thing you Googled? Very intimate question. I recommend asking people that because if they say, first of all, I was on incognito, that's all I'm going to say. You was on incognito. So I'm going to go to Google right now and see what I Googled. I looked up the healthcare company that wants to hire me. I looked up their company website. And before that, I looked up how to blur the background on the Nikon Z30, which is the camera I'm using right now. And that's all I'm going to share. Tell me about a moment of unexpected kindness that changed your perspective or restored your faith in humanity. I personally have a lot of moments of kindness. I attract it. I am that. I give it. So a lot of beautiful interactions happen for me all the time. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. Okay, so I was preparing my trailer, a utility trailer at the Home Depot. I went to Home Depot because I bought this utility trailer to put all my stuff in to make this cross-country trip from California to Atlanta. and which I achieved. And so I had to install the tow hitch myself because I thought that an FJ is going to come with a tow hitch. It didn't. So I had to install that. And then I was at Home Depot and I didn't know how to attach. The trailer was loose, first of all. I bought the trailer, drove, 30 minutes to 45 minutes from Ontario to Anaheim with the trailer hitched on me, and it wasn't secured. So the fact that I even got to Home Depot without that shit falling off, especially with the big ass heel I went on, is a miracle. And so I was at Home Depot, and there's a group of guys out there, like the laborers, right? They stand outside of Home Depot and solicit work. And so I was having trouble trying to adjust the trailer and make sure it was on tight. And the guy walks over, he's like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he tries to help me. The hitch ball seems like it's too big for the trailer thing. And so it's not going on all the way. And it actually is like warped in some way. Like it needed to be hammered, but I didn't know that. And so they tried it for like 15 minutes straight. They found a hammer because he had his tools there in his truck. And I was just standing on the side because I didn't know what to do. And they made that shit go on. They got the trailer on. And I didn't have that much cash on me, but I was expecting, like, you're here like trying to get work, so I'm going to offer you a tip at least, right? And he's like, no, we don't want your money. Like, we don't want your money. Like, it was like preposterous. And I was like, "Oh, wow, that's nice." He goes, "Can I just have a hug?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I gave him a hug. I didn't mind it. And he wasn't perverted about it or anything. It was really comfortable. And it was just like, "Okay, have a nice day." Like, it was really nice. And all the other guys, they didn't say, "Oh, I want a hug too." It was just like, I think that guy was like the boss guy. And so he got his hug, and then like we laughed, and he went on his day. I had my trailer secured, and it worked from that day on. Like, I just sold it to a veteran, and I taught him how to put it on and secure it. So that was really nice. I kind of like paid it forward that way. So yeah, that was the last thing. And it didn't restore my hope. I already knew humanity was beautiful. Like, I don't have that idea that humanity's messed up. That's the news. In real life, wonderful things happen every day to many people. So what's your biggest insecurity, and how does it affect your personal growth journey? 2, 4, 6. I'm procrastinating because I don't want to answer the question. Okay, so we're on to question number 7. My biggest insecurity, and how does it affect my personal growth journey? My biggest insecurity is being seen, like having too much attention put on me at one time from too many people. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this on purpose. Part of that was public speaking. So I got vocal training. I became a voiceover artist and learned how to speak better and get more comfortable with it. And then over the years, I just kept doing these videos. You can judge whether or not I was consistent, but I continued over the years to do videos and talk, and I'm good. Like, I feel good with this camera presence that I have. I feel like I'm talking to y'all. I don't feel like I'm looking at, a screen. And it affected me because I didn't believe in myself and believe that I could work through it, or that I was like, people wanted to listen to what I said. People wanted to hear me out or feel that I had value to offer. It was that imposter syndrome, that insecurity of, does what I have any value to anybody? Or am I just like having everyday conversation? Like, how is it special what I have to say? How am I qualified to advise other people or share with other people? So it was all those hangups that would hinder me from being consistent, because I would do it, I would be excited, and then I would drop it because it didn't seem to matter. It wasn't getting the traction that I thought, or I would allow little bits of criticism to stop me. So here we are, working through that still, but feeling a lot different about it. Have you ever felt like you're faking it? Okay, so we just talked about that. I'm going to skip this one because I just kind of answered that one. And where are the fun ones? What are you not what are you not very good at? What am I not very good at? I'm a Sagittarius. I think I'm good at everything. But really, okay, this is something that I'm not very good at, but you know, I've been working on it. That's always a disclaimer. I would say when it comes to like having a conversation and being triggered emotionally, then I'll get defensive. So I'm not very good at communicating with with like intense emotions, which I don't think is like something that you can like, it's not bad. Like I don't think it's a problem, but it's a problem because what happens for me is, let's say we're having like an intense conversation, which is about me, right? So it has to be something that involves me and what I'm doing. Then I'll become defensive at first. And then it takes me time, like I'm on dial up. So it'll take me time to really process what was said, reflect on myself, do a little journaling, and then I'll come back. Not necessarily the next day. Sometimes it just takes me like, an hour or whatever. But I'll come back and be able to receive what was said, be able to absorb it and not be defensive. But like on site, like immediately, I will get defensive. And it's not everything, but like certain things, like everybody has their things. So I have my certain triggers. Usually it's about if I feel like my character is being attacked, if I feel like my integrity is being attacked, those kind of things will make me be defensive. And then so I'll stop listening actively. My body will get tight and I'll have answers. I'll have answers ready, like out the gate, as soon as you stop talking. So that's something in the communication area that I could definitely, get some more practice. And I would say work on. It comes with experience. So the more that I have those triggering conversations, the better I get at reacting to it in a way that, is more wholesome and gets me better results. So what's this one? I think, did we do 10 questions? 2, 4, 6, 8. So I have 2 more questions. How do you want to be remembered? I want to be remembered for being a strong, loving presence. That's it. Every person that encounters me or meets me, I want them to remember how it felt to be in my presence. And that's it. Deep down, what lingering doubt whispers about your chosen path? How can you address it honestly and constructively? This is a great last question. So my path is wellness, right? I'm a wellness entrepreneur and personal growth. And so I think about kind of like what I said before, like, are people actually going to see and hear what I have as value, or then take it as valuable and want more of it? And does what I say matter? The way that I can address that constructively and honestly is this thing's about to die again. I'm so mad. I was almost done. All right, cool. Good, because I didn't want to answer that one. Whew. Saved by the bell. All right, so that was the 10 vulnerable questions. And I hope you got to know a lot about me, how I think, how I react to certain things, because that's really how you get to know a person. Not so much, what do you do? What are your credentials? It's really how you think. So I think those are really good questions that you can use at work, with coworkers, in your romantic relationships, with your friends, with kids. I mean, not all of those are going to pertain to kids, right? They're a little deep, but understanding that intimacy involves getting into somebody's head, getting into their heart, not so much getting into their body. That is like, third base when it comes to intimacy. A lot of people don't know how to even get to that intimate space without being physical. That's the only way they know how to do it. And it's kind of like a faux intimacy. It's not really real. It's just like bonding, oxytocin, hormones, all that. But to really be intimate with somebody, you got to know how they think. And those are some questions that you can use. So there's a few more in here. Like there's a lot more. I think I made like 20 questions, and they're in a Google Doc. The link is in the caption. So you can download those and download them to your phone. Use them as journal prompts. Take them on a date with you. You can do what I did, cut them up into little pieces of paper and pull them out of a hat and play like a conversation game with them. So out of those questions, the ones that I'm going to give you in this list, plus the ones that you heard, what are 3 that you would like to answer? 3 that like even you yourself are curious to know your answer. I want you to use those in a journal prompt. So if you're not a journaler, get a notebook. It doesn't have to be like a journal, like something pretty. Get any notebook, a piece of paper, and just write. And remember, this writing is not something that writing it doesn't mean that you're going to go back and reference it. It's the actual activity of writing it from your head, putting it into words, and having this flow that you might not have felt in a minute if you haven't been doing activities like this or working out or meditating. So writing is a way for you to be mindful and actually meditate. It's like an active meditation. First episode, I don't know what's important to you. I don't know what you like. Okay, what do you like? What do you really need from me to help you, to help fertilize your growth? Where are some areas that you're really stuck? Every single episode, what did you get out of this? Because that helps me know where I need to place more of my attention and efforts in, giving more from that area. And if I don't get that from you, then I'm going to come up with what I think based off of maybe Google Trends or something like that. I have a question for you. How do you react to opportunities to reflect, to self-reflect? Do you go into it with like this curiosity, like this excitement of like, oh, I want to know more about myself? Are you annoyed? Like, I don't want to ask no deep questions. Like, I don't feel like overthinking more. Or do you actually overthink and then not end up with the real insight that you're looking for? Because that's really common to just like overthink and you don't come out with nothing after doing all that thinking. And so that lets you know the way that I'm thinking is not producing, the results that I want. It's not giving me insight on myself. So now how can I change the questions that I ask myself? How can I change the thought process that I go through to get to the root of my issues, or the root of my passions, the root of things that I really enjoy? How does my brain work to get me to where I need to go with personal insight? So I want you to really think about that and be aware of how your thought processes, which is like, it's easy to say, but it takes a lot of repetition, and continue to remind yourself like, oh, I actually want to do this and not do that anymore. I'm repeating a cycle that I don't want to repeat anymore. So what can I do differently? So those are the kind of things that I'm going to focus on. And then also I want your input of, okay, what do I need? If I had a personal coach that was also a nurse, that also is really heavy on meditation and mindfulness, what would I ask this person personally to help me with my journey? So that's what I want you to ask. That's what I want you to put in the comments. Or you can also reach me directly via email at garnergrowth@gmail.com. So if you really need to talk to me directly, do not DM me, do not send me any kind of DM. Email is the one way to get in touch with me. So the last thing I'm gonna need y'all to do is like and subscribe. And you know why. If you don't like and subscribe, then the channel's not gonna grow and I'm not gonna reach as many people. So really, how many people I reach and how many people we help together, because your comments also help people. And you know that because you like to read comments too. Sometimes comments, you get more out of the comments than you do from the actual video. So comment to add your input and also become a part of the growth that we are doing together. But then also like and subscribe, because then more eyes will get it. It'll look more like it's something that people should be watching, which they should, right? So help me, help you, help us by liking and subscribing. And so I've committed to every Sunday to put a video out, to put an episode out, audio and video. And then also in between the week, I'm going to be putting out a guided meditation or an exercise. So this is going to be a shorter video for you It's going to be a shorter episode that's really focused on the practical side of personal growth, where it's the actual activity and it's more of a do it together type of episode. So you can look forward to those midweek on Wednesdays. All right. Every Sunday, episode. Every Wednesday, practice. All right. So I'm going to see you there. And if you can keep that consistency with me, guaranteed change, right? That's all it takes, is being consistent. Show up. You're going to have some results. And through all this growth, remember to lead with love. You're not trying to fix nothing. You're not broken. You are excited, curious, maybe even eager to get to know yourself deeper, to be more of you and see what you're capable of, right? That's where it's at. All right, I'll see you next week.
If you love the podcast, you'll love this website. Visit garnergrowth.org to see all the episodes, download meditations and mindfulness tools, and take advantage of the ever-growing library of exclusive content. We have everything you need to grow at garnergrowth.org.